Whenever people talk about Sharjah real estate, there's one thing I hear all the time. Sharjah is good for families, but not really for investors. And honestly, I understand why people think that. Because compared to Dubai, Sharjah feels quieter, less flashy, less aggressive, less luxury focused. You don't really hear people talking about Sharjah the same way people talk about Dubai Marina, downtown, or Palm Jumeirah. But lately, I've been thinking about something. What if people misunderstood Sharjah completely? What if the exact reason people ignored Sharjah for years is actually the reason some investors are starting to pay attention now? For a long time, Sharjah was mostly known as the practical option. If Dubai became too expensive, people moved to Sharjah. If families needed bigger apartments, they moved to Sharjah. And honestly, the price gap was never small either. In many cases, Sharjah properties can still be around 40 to 60% cheaper than comparable areas in Dubai. So naturally, people started associating Sharjah with saving money, family living, and practical decisions, not investment opportunities. The lifestyle also felt more residential, more routine-based, more grounded. People weren't moving there for luxury. They were moving there because life simply made more sense financially. And because of that, many investors overlooked it. Sharjah didn't really feel exciting. Dubai had the headlines, the luxury launches, the fast appreciation stories, the global attention. Meanwhile, Sharjah felt slower, quieter, less emotional. And honestly, investors usually follow excitement first. Some investors probably looked at Sharjah and thought, the prices are lower because demand is weaker. But I don't think that was ever fully true, because lower prices do not automatically mean lower demand. Sometimes, it just means the market behaves differently. I think this is the part many people miss. Dubai demand can feel very investment-driven. Sharjah demand often feels life-driven. And honestly, there's a very big difference between those two things. In Dubai, a lot of buyers are chasing rapid appreciation, luxury demand, short-term rentals, or fast resale opportunities. But in Sharjah, many people are moving there because they genuinely want to stay long-term. They want space, stability, schools nearby, manageable living costs, and a lifestyle that feels sustainable. And honestly, the numbers actually support this too. In some Sharjah communities, apartment rental yields are still averaging around 7 to 9%, especially in areas like Muwaila, Al-Nahda, Al-Majaz, and Maryam Island. That's actually competitive and sometimes even higher than parts of Dubai. And yet, the entry prices are still significantly lower. For example, in some Dubai communities, a decent family apartment could easily go above 1.5 to 2 million dirhams. Meanwhile in Sharjah, buyers can still find larger units for much lower entry prices. And honestly, that changes how many people calculate value. This is where the conversation gets interesting. Because people say, Sharjah is only for families. But what if families are exactly the reason investors are starting to pay attention? Families usually stay longer. They don't move every few months. They care about schools, communities, parking, groceries, and daily routine. And honestly, stable family demand creates something many investors quietly want: predictability. Because when families stay longer, that usually means less tenant turnover, more stable occupancy, and more consistent rental demand over time. And you can actually see this happening already. Areas near schools, University City, and communities close to the Dubai border continue seeing strong rental demand year after year. And honestly, that kind of demand usually feels healthier long-term. Another thing people don't fully realize is that Sharjah itself is changing. The older image of Sharjah still exists, yes, but newer communities are creating a different version of the city now. Places like Aljada, Masaar, Sharjah Sustainable City, and Maryam Island. These projects feel more modern, more planned, and more lifestyle-focused. You can feel the difference immediately. More greenery, better layouts, walkable areas, modern retail, new facilities, and honestly, newer developments are changing the image of Sharjah completely. Not just for families, but also for younger professionals, first-time investors, remote workers, and even international buyers. Aljada especially has become one of the most talked about communities in Sharjah over the last few years. And honestly, that's not something people would have imagined about Sharjah 10 years ago. Of course, Dubai still affects everything. When Dubai rents rise sharply, people naturally start looking elsewhere. And Sharjah becomes part of the conversation very quickly Especially now, because Dubai's rising living costs are pushing more residents to rethink what really matters. So suddenly, people start comparing things differently. Not which city looks more luxurious, but which city actually makes sense for my life? And honestly, that question is becoming more important for a lot of people now. Now, honestly, I also don't think Sharjah is perfect for every investor. And this is important, because I don't want to make it sound like Sharjah is suddenly becoming the next Dubai overnight. It's still a different market. Traffic is still a major issue for many residents. Some areas still feel older. Some infrastructure still needs improvement. And if someone only wants very fast appreciation or ultra-luxury demand, they may still prefer Dubai. So I understand why some investors still hesitate. But even with that, I still think something important is changing. The conversation around Sharjah is becoming more mature. People are no longer talking about cheap rent, older buildings, or daily commuting. Now people are also talking about community quality, master plan developments, long-term living, and sustainable demand. And honestly, that changes how investors start looking at a market. So, is Sharjah only for families and not for investors? I think the answer is both yes and no. Yes, Sharjah is still heavily family-oriented. But no, that does not mean investors should automatically ignore it. Because the family-driven nature of Sharjah may actually be the reason the market feels more stable, more grounded, and more sustainable long-term. Sharjah may never feel as loud as Dubai. But not every investor is looking for loud. Some are looking for consistency. Some are looking for long-term tenants. Some are looking for practical demand that comes from real life. And honestly, that's probably why more people are starting to look at Sharjah differently now. In the next video, we're going to talk about another common belief people have about Sharjah and whether it still holds true today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.